Hey guys, it's Mr. Ingram. We're learning how to make wampum inspired bracelets today. You should already have your worksheet that has your bracelet design on it done. And hopefully you already have this part done, which is making the loom. But if you don't, this is how you do it. You're going to take your cardboard rectangle and you're going to add 6 little slits on both sides of the rectangle. You want them on the short sides, not the long sides. There I am. I have my 6 slits. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. We're creating a loom for our bracelets. Our bracelets are woven. We're going back and forth with them, but they are also beaded. Remember, these are inspired by Native Americans beading, specifically wampum beads. Wampum beads were traditionally made out of shells, but we're using pony beads that are plastic. So here I am, I'm going to take my string. I've chosen blue, because as you can tell, my design is Cowboys themed. I've done it on the wrong side, so here I go. I put it through my little slits, and then I start wrapping it around my loom. So I'm taking it, and I'm just wrapping it all the way around, putting it through the little slits, making sure that it's straight. If you pull too hard, the cardboard will bend, so don't pull to the point where your cardboard bends in half or in quarters or whatever. You want to pull hard enough that you have a straight line, but not hard enough that you're bending your cardboard. So there you go. I've got my 6 lines, which is how many you need, and I'm going to cut off all my extra string so that somebody else can use this color if they want to. So there you go. Now, I'm going to take my plastic needle. It is plastic for a reason. It will not hurt you, it will not hurt other people, and we're going to keep it that way. You're going to take your string. It could be a different color string. If it's a different color string, in the end, it'll show up against the string you've already picked, and we're going to put it through our needle. So our string goes through our needle. When we put it through our needle, we now need to make one of those knots that we learned last week, our easy overhand knot, where we loop them and then we put the little tail back through. So we're going to do it once, and then we're going to do it another time, just because we want to make sure that our string stays on our needle. Now when you get to this point, you can take this little tail and the longer tail, and you're just going to cross them over each other and put the little tail back through the loop that you made by crossing them. Okay, now the overhand knot is important here. If you don't have the overhand knot, it's going to fall off. Now, what you won't see me doing here is I'm going to take all my excess string. I'm going to make a piece as long as both of my arms spanned out, and I'm going to cut it so that way I have a long enough piece. Okay, we don't want to keep the string on there because then we won't know how much to pull through. But as you can see, I've got my stuff knotted and I'm ready to go. Now, I need to get my beads ready. As you can see, I've marked I need 72 blue beads and I need 78 white beads. I'm marking my first row because I already have my beads ready. I need 5 blue beads. So I'm going to go to my beads that I've already counted out, and I'm going to grab 5 blue beads for my first row. Okay? 5 blue beads. When I get my blue beads, as you're going to see here, I'm going to put them on my needle before I do anything. So my needle's got my string on it. I'm going to take the kind of pointy end, it's really dull, but the kind of pointy end, and I'm going to put all 5 of my blue beads on there because that's going to be my first row of beads on my bracelet. So as I'm putting them on here, I'm ready to slide them down. This part's going to be more difficult than the first part because you got to get it over the fat part of the needle where the string gets attached, the little loop there. And now that I've got my beads down on my string, I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to put it under all of the strings on my loom. Under all of them. You notice I picked that one up because I need it to be under, and I pull my string through. When I pull my string through, I'm going to start lifting up my blue strings here, my strings of my loom, and I'm going to slide my beads into them. So each bead gets their own little track. It's like a racetrack, it's like a parking lot, however you want to think of it. each bead needs their own spot. They go between 2 strings. So you have 5 beads and 6 strings. Each of the 5 beads gets their own spot. So I'm sliding them down to the end of my bracelet. I'm pulling my string through. I want to leave just a little bit of a tail at the end of my string. But as you can see, all 5 of my beads have their own space. It's really important. Now, I'm going to take the end of my needle and I'm going to put it through the bead and over the strings this time. So we're not going under, we're going over the strings and through the bead. You'll have to pull through. And here's a different angle of it. So you can see I'm going through my row of beads and over the strings. All right. So through the beads and over the strings. This is the part where a lot of people get messed up. If you cannot get over the strings and through the beads, your bracelet will break, it will mess up, it will not look right. Now, here I am counting my next row. I need 2 blue beads and 3 white beads. And I'm gonna put those beads, just like they are on the paper, onto my needle. So I'm gonna go blue, white, 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 blue. So there's my 2 blue. And then my whites are incoming. We got my 3 whites. I'm gonna push them to the side and get ready to put them on my needle. So remember, it's gotta be exactly the same. Blue, white, 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 blue. Blue, white, 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 blue. So I'm grabbing my beads, I'm placing them on my needle, and I'm not gonna push them down yet because I wanna make sure I got the right beads in the right places. So that's my bottom bead, so it's blue, and then my white, white, white. So white, white, and white. Then my top bead is going to be blue. And look at that. It matches my drawing perfectly. That's what you want to make sure every time. If you need to put your needle beside your drawing every single time, do it. Make sure that you have the right beads in the right places, or it will not turn out like your picture. Okay, if you got a pattern going, if you got words going, make sure you got them right. So I'm going to slide them down on my string, over the needle, down on the string, and then I'm lifting up my string because my needle needs to go under the first time. So we go under all the strings and we pull. Then we slide our beads into their parking spots. Everybody gets their own parking spot. So we're gonna lift our loom strings up. So for me, that's my blue strings. It would be really helpful if you guys pick 2 different colors, because if you pick 2 different colors, you know which one is your loom and you know which one is your beaded string. So as you can see, parking spot, parking spot, parking spot. All 5 have a parking spot. I'm gonna slide them down and pull on my string. And don't pull too hard, because if you pull to the point where your loom strings are kind of not being straight anymore, but they're being angled, you're doing it too hard. So here you go. Here's a time lapse of me doing a couple more rows. Remember, under first, over and through the next time. Under first, over and through the next time. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Back it up if you need to. I appreciate you guys working so hard on this. I know it's hard.